everybody. Thank you for being here. Sorry for jumping in a few minutes late, but I have such a great live video interview to share with you today. Today on Salon Marketing Live, we have a really special guest, Abby Warther from Abby Warther Academy, built with Balayage, and Abby Warther Salon as well. So thank you so much for being here with us today, Abby. I'm so excited to have you on.
Thank you. I am so honored that you asked me to be here, and I'm excited about what we're going to talk about today. And I always love talking to my fellow hairdressers.
Yes, awesome. So just to kind of summarize for you guys what we're going to be going through today, Abby is she's a salon owner, she's a hairdresser, she's a specialist in balayage, she is an educator, so she has her own academy. She is also a business coach, and she has a ton of knowledge to share with us today about being in the beauty industry, opening your own salon for the first time, growing your team, about kind of the mindset of what it takes to be your own boss and have your own business, about continuing education and continuing learning no matter where you are at in your career. And I'm so excited to jump in.
All the things.
Yeah, all the things. So much stuff. So whether you're in the hairdressing industry, whether you're a nail tech, or whether you're an esthetician, if you have a beauty salon, no matter kind of which beauty niche you're in, this is so relevant to you. And I know that you're going to learn a whole lot. So just to get started, Abby, maybe you can kind of introduce yourself in your own words and talk about how you first got into the industry and what your career is like right now.
Yeah, so I am Abby Warther, and I'm a salon owner in Ohio. I've been doing hair for 13 years now, and I got into this career probably not like most people in the beauty industry did. I did not grow up like wanting to do hair and playing with everyone's hair. I played sports, and that's kind of what I did. But what got me into it is I was in college, and I was terrible at it. I was not good at college.
What were you taking there?
I actually was studying fashion merchandising and marketing. So I actually went to school for 4 whole years, and I hated it. I was miserable. And what I did was I worked in a retail store at the time, and I learned that I loved working with people, and I learned that I loved fashion, but I knew I wasn't going to want to go down that career path. And so actually what turned me over to the hair industry was I would get my hair done regularly. Even though I was a poor, broke college student, it made me happy. And I started going to this stylist, and I still know her to this day, and I tell her this all the time when I see her. But she presented to me a career that I never saw before. She was so professional. She had a career going for her, and I hate to admit, but I really did view hairstylists as the stereotypical hairstylists, right? I mean, that they're not smart, they aren't working hard, and they're just doing this for fun. And this stylist showed me a different side to it, that it's a thriving career. It's for very intelligent, hardworking businesswomen, and I wanted to be part of that. So literally 2 weeks later, I signed myself up at the Aveda Institute in Ohio, in Columbus, and so it began.
That is so awesome. So when you first started out, I mean, you've done so many things, but when you first started out, when you first went into the school there, did you have kind of a goal for what you wanted to achieve, like 5 years down the road or 10 years down the road?
Right. So nowadays I'm a very strong goal-oriented type person, and that's one of the things that really has gotten me to where I am and where I want to go. But at the time, I just, I dropped out of college, 4 years of college, and I just felt like I knew it was the right place for me to be, and I knew I had nothing else to fall back on. So I did not know. My classmates, they would say, I want to be a platform artist and all these big, crazy things. And I just thought, I just want to do something I love. And that's all that it was. So what I did was I showed up to school every day, and I worked my butt off. And I realized, like, I was smart. Maybe I wasn't traditional, education route smart, but I was smart in other ways. And so that was my drive. I didn't have a big goal of I want to own a salon and all these things. I just knew I wanted to do something I loved.
Yeah, that is so important. I completely agree. And it's great that you figured that out in time before, like,
God.
you know,
Some people don't.
Yeah, some people don't. And I mean, that's great too, but there are a lot of people who wake up, maybe they're 40 years old, 50, and they say, you know what? I want to go into this industry, and that's great too. But it's nice that you were able to figure that out before even starting in the working world, and like this is the path that I want to take.
I'm so thankful. Yes.
Yeah. So, what does your career look like today, Abby?
It is a full one, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I'm very grateful for that. So now I am a salon owner. So I'm a commissioned salon owner, so I have employees, and I have what we call like a mini or a boutique salon, so 5-chair salon, and I work behind the chair 3 to 4 days a week. So I really believe that I need to stay in it with hair and doing clients to stay relevant to what's happening in this industry today. So aside from being in the salon behind the chair, I've also become an educator as well. So I am an educator for Sunlight's Balayage, so a main balayage company that a lot of people probably starting to know now because they're just blowing up. And I started out just teaching in my salon and around my area, and now I've grown this. I've built a balayage education business, and I'm now traveling all over the country teaching.
That is awesome.
And so I'm in the salon, I'm teaching, the real life stylist is what I like to say. And then I've also created this online space Built with Balayage where I go live every week and I teach free classes to stylists. So it's full. There's a lot.
Yeah, I bet.
I love it.
Yeah. So how are you balancing being in the salon plus managing your staff and then also doing this other part, which is, I'm guessing, like you said, more traveling, but then also kind of like on your computer fostering this community?
Yeah. So it's balance. I don't always love the word balance because I don't feel like it's always possible to be completely balanced in everything in your life, because all of those things, plus most of us have families and kids and all this stuff. And so to truly balance everything, I feel like sometimes we're setting ourselves up to be this perfect that isn't always so possible all the time. So I look at it as more of a swing. So sometimes I'm more heavy into work and I'm all in there, but then that'll die down and I'm going to swing back into family and home life and those things. But what I do to try to be not so one side or the other is be organized.
Yeah.
So I wake up every single day, I have a to-do list, I write everything down, and I just know what I need to work on and where my time is best spent, whether that's with training my staff, whether that's, of course, I have my time behind the chair, so that takes up a good chunk of it. And then I wake up early some days and I get on the computer and I really give attention to my Built with Balayage followers and plan the classes and get those out there and promote those. So it just takes organization for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so we know where you started and in the beauty industry, and we know kind of what your career looks like today with you doing so many different kinds of things in the beauty industry. But can you tell us a little bit more about how you got from beauty school to working in the first salon where you worked, and then eventually being like, okay, I want to go out on my own and start my own thing?
Yeah, so it's, I get questions like that a lot, like how did I get to this point, or how do you do all that you do? And it's literally like a one day at a time, one moment at a time type thing. So from beauty school into my first couple of salons that I worked in, I just really focused on what I was working on right there in my journey. So there were stylists that were built and doing hair for 10 years, and then there was me starting out. So in the beginning, probably it was the first 5 years of my career, I just really, really focused on improving my techniques and my craft and really getting that down solid and being confident in that. So building my confidence with my actual craft.
Yeah.
And then I really learned the business side, how to build a clientele, how to market myself, how to retain my guests, how to get referrals. And in time, I built this book that was just like bursting at the seams. And
so
this was
sorry to interrupt you, but how did you work on that education part in terms of business, like getting clients, marketing yourself, working on like your pricing and your services, that kind of thing? Did you get that education from somewhere like school or online learning, or did you just have to figure it out yourself?
Yeah, I mean, this was pre-everything days, pre-Instagram and like all the internet stuff, because now there's so much available. I mean, look at this right here that we're doing today, right?
Yeah.
There's so much available. Like, I've been doing hair 13 years. We didn't have anything like that. So I worked in a commissioned salon. So I think that that's so important that stylists get out of school and don't just go out on their own, and they find a really good quality salon to have a training program at, which is what I went through in my first salon, and learning those core concepts from a great salon. And if you are in a salon now and you aren't learning those things, maybe that's not the best salon to be in the moment, right?
Right.
So, but then I just have always been and still am an open book. So I absorb information from anywhere. Every time I went to a class, my ears were open, and I wasn't even just listening to what they were teaching in the moment, but like when there's a break and there's side conversations going on between the educator and somebody else, I'm listening because I want to hear, and just, I was a sponge. I just absorbed everything and retained it and just really put it to practice when I got back into the salon that week.
Oh, that is so great. So what do you think, like, when you were still working at this salon and you were, like you said, like a sponge, just trying to learn as much as you could, apart from like the techniques and the skill of doing hair, when it comes to like the business side of things, what do you think were like the first really important lessons that you learned before going out on your own?
Yeah. Guest experience. 100%. So you can be the best at cutting hair. You can be the best at marketing yourself. But if you aren't giving a great guest experience in the salon, you're not going to retain anybody. You're not even going to get that many referrals. And it's just, you're going to be hamster on a wheel trying to constantly build a clientele. So I think guest experience is first and foremost huge. That's your core. And then, I mean, back then we didn't have Facebook and Instagram to market back then. So it was just pure word of mouth. Yeah. Is all that was. And so that's why the guest experience is so important, because that's where that word of mouth comes from.
Yes. Yeah. And even today, like, even though we do have all of these amazing platforms to market ourselves online, you're right that it does come back to that, because if your guest experience is weak, you could have the best marketing and the best skills in doing hair in the world, and it's going to fall flat.
Yep, they'll be disappointed,
so
for sure.
So is that something that you kind of had to learn the hard way, or were you just kind of watching what your employer and what the other people at the salon were doing and kind of mimicking them, or how were you figuring that out?
I learned that because I went to Innovative Institute, I went to a strong school, and the Paul Mitchell schools are great at it too. There's other great schools like that. They taught me that from the beginning. So I'm so grateful that I had that kind of a training, that guest experience is key, and everything else comes after that, for sure.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, so once you had picked up enough of these kind of skills and you felt confident, what were the first steps that you took, and maybe what was like the deciding factor for you to be like, okay, I'm ready to do this on my own?
Yeah. So, like, scariest decision ever to every single stylist that decides to just jump ship and go do their own thing. But I was slammed. I was so busy behind the chair, and I wanted to, the reason that I decided to go out on my own is I wanted to start creating a vision for myself and to have a salon that was mine and that embodied that vision that I had. So I knew it was time just because I just went for it. It's something I've always thought of in the back of my head, and I know so many stylists are like, I want to do that someday. But like, when's the someday? You just have to make that decision and then do your research and figure out all these it's a lot of little things that add up into that big thing of going out on your own. So figure out the little things, the place, the what product line, the how you're going to take appointments, like all the things. And you just got to go for it. You got to do it.
Yeah, I can imagine that must have been so like scary, but also exciting at the same time. I mean, I know when I started my first business, it's like, on one hand, you're like, what if this all goes wrong? But then on the other hand, you're like, what if this all goes right? And you start thinking about how amazing it's going to be and what the experience is going to be like and that kind of thing.
That's definitely what it was the fear. It's either this is going to tank miserably and I'm going to be out of a career, or this is going to just really shine. And when you put your back up against the wall, you have nowhere to go but forward, right? So that's just really what I thought. And at the time, Facebook was coming around, you know? So that's when I went and I made a Facebook page. And this was 7 years ago. And no one in my area did that. The salon I worked didn't have a website, you know? So I made a Facebook page and, branded myself. At the time I was Abby Warther Hair Studio. And I made a big announcement and I thought, are these clients even on Facebook? That's where the world was then, right? And I remember the night I made the announcement of my move and where I was going to be and all this stuff, I just got flooded with messages and text messages and bookings. And so right then and there, when I just, pressed post, it happened. I knew it was going to be good.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing about like getting in on a platform so early and kind of like being one of those early adopters. It makes such a big difference when there's not a whole bunch of other businesses doing it. It kind of makes you unique and it's a new way for you to communicate with people. So we still have Facebook and Instagram. It's just a different story now than it was 7 years ago.
And it's never too late, even though it was great in the beginning, like it's still not too late to, if you're just starting out, to open that Facebook page because everyone loves the new and fresh and the next best thing. So
yeah, exactly. And I think I don't know about you, but like one thing that I've noticed that's changed so much about social media within the past few years is that before where it used to be very like businessy and you try to make it like an official Facebook page, I find that now it's kind of moving more towards the personal, that people care more about like seeing the people behind the businesses and seeing more like videos and that kind of thing, because you bring it back to like what a social network is at that point.
Yes. Like kind of like what it used to be, and then it turned into something else, and now it's going back to there. And it's something I've really been playing with this year with my salon and my education business pages. So I'm running 4 accounts, okay?
Wow.
I've got both Instagrams and both Facebooks, and every single time there's a picture of me on there or one of my team members, the likes are, abundant, and the comments and the interaction. Yes, we need to post, whatever industry you're in, your after pictures or nails or whatever it may be, but so that there's a little bit of a portfolio growing there. But you really need to let these people know who it is that's doing their hair, their nails, whatever it is.
Yeah, exactly. So going back to that, when you took the jump and you took the leap, so you published on your Facebook page and you were flooded with all these requests, which is, I guess, an amazing feeling. And you're like, I'm doing the right thing. I'm going in the right direction. Yeah. So what were some of the first initial challenges that you faced, like in the first, let's say, year of business that you really didn't expect to come up against?
So the first year of business, it was just me in a salon suite, just by myself, no employees at this point. And I can't say I had too many challenges. I just became insanely busy. So I went from being insanely busy to even more so. And I know that's a great problem to have. But the problem in that was that my business now seeped into my entire life. So I was at home making phone calls and emailing people back, and clients will text you at 10 o'clock at night, at 2 in the morning, Yeah. And so that was probably the biggest growing pains for me. I was lucky enough in how I marketed myself on Facebook, and the experience I gave in the salon is that I had no issues with growth and finding clients. It was just maintaining that work-life balance of not letting it take over your life and setting boundaries. Yeah. Being a business owner.
Oh yeah, that's something I myself had learned that the hard way as well, as like, especially with, my business was a marketing agency, so I was helping beauty business owners with their marketing. But at the same time, even though it's a different business model, it's always about setting those boundaries, because for me, for example, I was taking these clients' work on and I was trying to make everything perfect and making everything my own business, making everything about, I have to fix this. I have to do it all. And when you take on so much and you don't set boundaries, it can just totally take over your life.
Yes, you have to teach your clients or whoever how to work within the parameters of your business, Yeah. And because you just want to make everyone happy, and you can't, because you're going to run yourself down.
I know. That's the thing about being like, especially with the personality of you're very social. A lot of us tend to be kind of like people pleasers, and you have a hard time saying no to people.
Yes. definitely.
And that's kind of where the burnout starts to happen a little bit.
And I think it happens to everybody at some point. It's a real thing.
Yeah. So, in the first year of business, you were extremely busy. I'm guessing that you had so many clients that you had to start changing some things about your business in order to, make the most amount of money, but also to help the most amount of people. Where did your business go from there? So what did you change about your business, either, like your services or your pricing, or maybe adding on more people to start to deal with that and start growing?
Yes, that's what I did. So I was working way too many days and way too many hours, and I was burning myself out, but I was loving it still, Yeah. But I knew I couldn't sustain that. So I thought, I'm going to hire an assistant. That's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to hire an assistant, and I didn't really know how it was going to work in a salon suite scenario with an assistant, with no chair. One assistant turned into 4 full-time employees because I just went crazy there.
And you were still at the suite there?
I ended up renting out 2 more additional suites, so thankfully I had that available to me. And so now I went from renting 1 suite to 3 suites and having 5 of us. And it was so tiny. I mean, you just make it happen. When you want to go, if you want to get to the next level, you can't worry about all the details. You just come in with the good intentions and have the right vision, and you'll figure it out. So we were working out of these 3 tiny little suites. Oh my gosh. And we did that for a year. So I had 4 full-time commission employees, and for a year we again grew and blew up, and we kept doing Facebook. We're starting to get into Instagram a little bit here. And yeah, it was a crazy year of growth. Another one. Yes.
Oh my gosh. So those first 4 or 5 employees that you got, how did you end up finding them? So was it like word of mouth or traditional advertising, or did you start to use social media a bit for that?
It was word of mouth, and then also people I used to work with in the past. So I think that if you're a salon owner, or if you want to bring a team on, you have to be a leader that someone wants to work with. Mm-hmm. And so no matter how you advertise for it, you have to have a salon culture and a presence that people want to be a part of. People want to be part of a team. People want to have a strong leader that they can learn from, be inspired from, be motivated by. And if you are doing all those things, you embody those things, you will have people coming to you to find you. Now, since then, have I advertised for hiring and stuff? Yes. I've done it through social media, back in the day, Craigslist, I've done all of them, but I would say most come from word of mouth, for sure.
So was it difficult with you? I mean, you were pretty young at the time, and you were, your first year out on your own, and all of a sudden you have your first employees. Was it hard for you to figure out, now that you had found these employees through word of mouth, was it hard to learn how to kind of manage them and motivate them and that kind of thing?
It's an ongoing learning process, yes. For anyone that owns any business, but I think especially for salon owners or in the beauty industry, managing and motivating creative people is a learning process, because everyone is motivated by something different, right? Yeah. So when I first started, thankfully I went back on the couple of salons that I worked with that had strong cultures with a handbook. So before anyone even set foot in my salon as an employee, I wrote out a handbook of what my vision was. I have a mission statement, and I have guidelines and policies and all of those things, because I knew that I needed structure in order to lead effectively.
Yeah. So is that something that you learned from the salon that you had worked at? Is that where you got the idea from?
Yes. Every salon I've worked at, I was thankful enough to work at salons with strong structures. Mm-hmm. I just modeled off of that, but then also went above and beyond that too. You learn what maybe you don't want to do from other salons that you've worked at, and maybe some things that you do want to do. So I would piece together things like that. Like, I hated this as an employee. I hated this policy or this rule or whatever it was, or this program that they had, but this I love, and this helped me shine. So I just made something my own based off of learning what not to do and learning what to do.
Yeah. Oh, that is so great. So your first few years at the salon suite, what happened after that?
So I was there for 2 years just myself, solo. So it was 2 years, I guess, not one. And then 1 year with the team, and we were just bursting at the seams.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And I said to my husband, I said, we need a bigger space. And he's like, okay, let's go start looking for new places to rent. I already had a lot of rent going out in these 3 salon suites, if you can imagine. So he's like, let's go look for a place to rent. And I said, no, I want to buy something. So he's like, I've always kind of used to scare him back in the day with my big new ideas. Okay, now you want to buy a commercial building? Like, with what money, right? So just new in business, you know? And so I said to him at the time, I was 2 years old. I said, we're young enough, let's purchase something so I don't have to throw away rent for 20 years, 30 years, however long I own this salon. And it's just another way to diversify my income too. So we set out to go find a space, and sometimes you just work hard for things you don't know exist yet. The second we started to look for a space appeared. We put it out into the universe, and it was an old salon in a perfect location for a great price, and so we bought it.
Oh, that is awesome. So was that kind of a completely new challenge, owning the place as opposed to renting a suite?
Yeah. Yes. I mean, you know, my young, naive ways, yes, of course. Owning a building is a whole other thing. I don't regret any of it, but there's a lot more responsibility with owning a building. You have the maintenance of the building. So we have already replaced hot water heaters and air conditioners and furnaces and decking and entryways, and you know, we've poured a lot of money into this property, but it is ours, and we're building equity in that property. And so, yes, it was a lot more. We just thought, oh, we'll own a building, no big deal. It can't be that much. It's a lot, but we love that too. So there's another thing to add to my to-do list every week.
Oh, yeah, I can imagine. So you have had your salon in this location for how many years now?
It'll be 4 years this summer.
And what has that kind of journey been like with growing it? So, I mean, obviously you have more space, you're able to grow your staff and your clientele. So can you tell me a little bit more about, like, just in general, what those past 4 years have been like?
So it's been great. My salon has gone through a lot of changes in the last 4 years. I am always renovating something, improving the atmosphere with my salon, and just kind of moving things around and figuring out the best way to have my salon be, because I own it and I can do whatever I want. I can knock down a wall. I can add a wall. I can change anything that I want. And so looking back 4 years ago, it looks like a totally different salon physically, but also just the feel and the atmosphere that I've created in there has completely changed and kind of grown up as we've grown. So we've definitely had a lot more room to grow a clientele. The location is they always say location. Yeah. Is in a great location for visibility that we never had before being in a salon suite. So that was huge. And I'm able to have certain amenities in my salon that I never could have dreamed of. It's a 2-story building. And in November, we did this big renovation in our second level where we had this huge space. It used to be an apartment up there, actually. Wow. It used to be the old living room. And I had one of my clients who's a designer come in and design a lounge for us. So
that is so cool.
It's wonderful. So instead of our guests processing on the salon floor where it's noisy and loud, I really wanted to give our guests a space to take a break from the busy everyday lives and relax and take time for themselves. You know, everyone's clients in the beauty industry, everyone's busy and overworked and overstressed and overcommitted, and women don't typically take time for themselves. But when they're in the salon sitting with hair color on for 30 minutes, why not be in a beautiful, relaxing space? And so that's what we created at AW Salon, and our clients love it. So
I can imagine.
Experience, we just took it up a notch with that.
That is so cool. So do you feel like your business right now is kind of where you want it to be in terms of you are in 4 years from now? How do you see your business being different from how it will be today?
So that's a good question, because in the past it's always I wanted it to be bigger and more and more and more. And we've gotten to that point, and now I don't want to grow my team. I don't want to have more chairs and more stations and more stylists. I don't want to be this mega salon. I love being this boutique style salon. So going forward, what I want to do is double down on my salon culture, double down on the guest experience. And this day and age that everything is so automated everywhere you go. And I think that the success for any long-term business in the beauty industry is giving this experience to people that they're not getting anywhere else. So that's like really what I want to nurture in the next 5 years, is having a really strong salon team and a really great guest experience where our salon sells itself just because of what we do inside those walls.
That is awesome. So going forward, the two big differentiators that you're going to have and the things that are going to make your business stronger are your culture and your team, and your guest experience.
Yeah.
So can you tell me a little bit more about what are some of the things that you've done to foster kind of that, first of all, the strong culture in your team?
Yes. So the strong culture in my team, how I lead my team is based off of growth. They're not just professional growth, but their personal growth as well. So I really sit down with all of my team members, and I want to know, like, what makes you happy? What's your why? Why do you want to be here? Why do you want to have a successful career? And what is a successful career to you? You know, successful career to me is something totally different to some of my team members.
Yeah.
And I need to know what that is so that then we can they can work in a salon where they can work out the culture and the vision that I have, but they're still happy on the inside. You know, so it can be my vision, but if it doesn't line up with theirs, then nothing works, right? So that's what, for culture, it's about their growth, and it's about a guest experience also. That's my salon culture. So growth and guest experience, and then education, of course.
So the guest experience has been, from the beginning, from all the way from when you first started to now, has been like your main thing. So can you tell us a few things about what you do for your guests that elevates their experience and also differentiates your salon from other salons?
Yeah, so we have something that we call the service wheel at AW Salon. This is something modeled from my Aveda days, and it's the system that the second the client actually makes a reservation, whether it's online booking, which everyone should be doing, or calling on the phone, what's the experience they're having? Is our website running well, and is it easy to navigate, and is the person answering the phone happy and friendly, and you can hear the smile on their face, right? And it goes from that to when they enter the salon. How many times have some of us gone into any sort of salon, nail salon, whatever it may be, spa, and nobody looks up to say hi? Those things are such a big deal. Like you don't
want to feel invisible when you first go into a business.
You're like, do you want me here? You know, like, am I supposed to be here? So it goes from that to the consultation, to the shampoo experience, to the service itself, recommending take-home products, educating our guests on that, and then how we wrap it up and get them to pre-book and say goodbye for now until next time. So that's one of the big things that we do in the salon to help train everybody to have the same guest experience. And then we like to add in a couple little things. We have premium snacks and premium drinks, and these things seem small, but these details matter.
Yeah.
We also have something that's called a hot towel treatment, and that is what we're known for. People like geek out over it, and that is one of the biggest things that gets us referrals into the salon.
What is your hot towel treatment?
It's so good. I mean, you melt when you get it done. So every single person that gets shampooed in my salon, no matter what service you're getting done, after we apply the conditioner, we take a hot towel from a hot towel cabinet that is has essential oils all over it, so you're getting this aromatherapy, and we wrap it around their head, the shampoo bowl. Covers their ears, everything.
Wow.
And it just sits on there for a minute or two, and it's quick, but I'm telling you, they love it. Our guests love it.
It feels like you're at the spa.
It feels like you're at the spa, and it's just another time to just slow down and for them to take care of themselves. So it's, again, another simple thing that costs us no extra money, except for essential oils that we buy once a month, you know, that really elevates the value that the clients are getting while they're in the salon.
Wow. So have you essentially kind of like mapped out every single interaction that someone would have with your salon, and then like essentially determined what that will look like, and then I guess you train all of your employees on that?
Yes, it is ongoing training because you can't just say, okay, here it is, and then you don't talk about it again. So,
Right.
you know, I try to like, okay, so if someone's not recommending their take-home products to their guest, we go over that and we talk about that part of the wheel again. So yeah, every single part of it, there's like little mock dialogues that are there, like just how you say hello to somebody. Because I might think that that's common sense, but someone coming in with a different background, in a different journey, in a different story, might have had other experiences. Some people never experienced high-end salons in their life, or they've never been to a fancy restaurant or a nice hotel. They don't know how to have those higher level interactions with our guests to give, you know, premium customer service. So I just train on that just to make sure everyone is on the same page.
Awesome. Great. So one thing I wanted to ask you about, Abby, you know, you were talking about the wheel of all the experiences from beginning to end. But one thing that I've noticed of a lot of salons that I go into, I'll go in there for an appointment. It's great. My whole experience is great. I usually have absolutely zero complaints. But after I leave the salon, I never hear from them again. I never get a follow-up. I don't get any emails. I don't get, and it's easy, if you haven't been going there for a long time, it's easy as like a first-time guest to be like, maybe I'll try out somewhere else.
Yeah.
So, so do you have any ideas or suggestions for businesses to kind of continue that experience even after they leave your doors?
Yes. So the most simple thing to do, because I know you could do a lot of things, there's a lot of ideas here, but the most simple thing to do is just have an email marketing list. So if you're not capturing your guests' emails when they're coming into the salon, then you need to, because they get into this email list, and every single month I just send out a newsletter and I just tell our guests, what's something exciting happening in the salon with maybe some of the stylists, making it personal again, right? Talking about then a training that we've done, and also talking about something new that's happening professionally in the salon as a whole, not just for the stylist. And then we always remind them of our referral program and how much it means to us for them to refer their friends to us.
Yeah.
And with that email list, we also have birthday emails, so they get a discount off in the salon the month of their birthday. And, those are the main things that my salon does. But other great things you could do is, if you are a smaller team, or if it's just you starting out, send a follow-up email or a thank you email. Most email marketing systems and salon systems have an automated thank you email just to say, but nothing beats picking up the phone and calling that client.
I know. But I would feel so special if somebody called me.
What we do in the salon is, and this is probably, we don't ever hear anything back from it, but we know we're putting that out there, and we know that who's not going to like this, is every single new guest that comes in, they get put onto a list, and we send out a handwritten thank you card.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah, and we always like to put in something personal from the appointment. So say they were going to dinner that night. I hope you had a great time at dinner with your husband, so that they know that you connected with them as a human being, not just like a transaction.
Wow, that is so nice. It's not that high effort, but it is so appreciated by people, and it's just something that I think that a lot of salons are kind of concentrated on all the things that they can do to get new clients coming in their doors. And of course that's important, especially if you're just starting out, but not to underestimate that, the experience that you give them during their visit and then also after their visit will help them to come back as well. Yeah,
that's such a good point, that everyone's concentrating on new clients. Like if they don't feel busy and if their books are suffering, like I need new people, really you need to be focusing on your existing clients. Retaining that client or getting them to even come in one more visit a year is huge for your business. It costs so much more time and effort to acquire a new client than it does just to retain that client and then build off of that. So getting referrals from that guest, and that again all comes down to that guest experience there. So yes, I don't even do these big pushes for advertising for new guests. I don't do new guest specials or anything like that. We promote what's happening in the salon on social media, but really it's all about what's happening inside to help grow and nurture the business.
Yeah, yes, definitely. So we've talked about kind of your business experience from when you first started to where you are today in your salon. We haven't really touched yet on the other part of your business, which is education and also coaching. So business coaching for other business owners.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit more about that side of your business?
Yes, it's a whole other business.
Yes.
2 full-fledged businesses going on here. So I am an educator for Sunlight's Balayage, and they are one of the main balayage companies out there. They have a balayage lightener, and the reason why I love teaching for them is because they are all about education and nurturing the hairdresser. Mm-hmm. So in doing so, I do get to be an independent educator under the Sunlight's Balayage brand. So what that means is I'm not just being sent off to a class and saying, here, go teach this class. It was up to me to create a brand for myself and promote that brand and make my own classes and sell my own tickets and truly start up a whole nother business.
Yeah.
So it was a lot, but so much fun. I just loved it. I loved the challenge of starting something new like that. So through educating, I started off small. I became an educator for them, came back home, and I was like, I need to start selling classes and teaching classes. So I started just in my salon, and I had local stylists coming in, and those just started filling up and filling up and filling up. And then salons started contacting me in Ohio, and I started traveling all over in Ohio. And I've been doing it for 2.5 years now, and I've built this brand up enough to now stylists and salon owners are contacting me out of state, and I'm now flying, getting on an airplane to go teach. I'm going to Alabama in 2 weeks, so it's crazy how that's grown, but
that must be so much fun.
It is so much fun because it's one thing working with clients all day. That's a different kind of a connection, but connecting with hairstylists, the real life behind the chair hairstyles, and hearing their struggles. We're all the same. No matter where you're at in your career, we're all dealing with the same pain points and problems, and so it's nice to connect and then help them do that.
Yeah, I can imagine. And it's so rewarding teaching people and seeing that they've learned something that then they're going to go and use and it will change their life. So great. Yeah. And then how about kind of the more business side of your coaching practice?
So I don't do as much coaching in salons now because I'm traveling so much, but I have been in salons, and I'll come in and do a full day, and we'll just sit down, and it's like taking a client behind the chair, doing a thorough consultation and finding out where their problem areas are and where they want to grow to. And it's so nice to go in because I work with some really brilliant business owners, but when they're in their own business so much, you can't always see it. And so it's nice to have someone coming in from the outside and seeing it for where it really is and finding holes in your business. And I love doing that. I love doing that. So again, it's just another avenue of educating people, but the salon owner, because I have seen all the different models. I've been a commission stylist, a commission salon owner, a suite renter. And so it's really fun to go in and work with different types of models as well.
Yeah, awesome. So of all, the hairdressers that you've been training, and then maybe some of the salon owners that you come in and help them on the business side of things, where do you see, what are some of the common things that you see them struggling with and that that you can help them with, or you feel like when you do give them the tools, it kind of changes their business? What are some of the most common things that you see them having these big problems?
I think the most common thing that I see with hairstylists, whether they're suite owners or business owners, is charging their worth. Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing. They all find their own area for their technical side, and they know where to go to learn that stuff. But I see so many stylists that lack confidence in their skills, and then they let that trickle into their confidence in their business. And so they're working like a dog, and they're taking all these clients, and they're giving away free services, discounted services, and it really does our business a disservice because, unfortunately, people don't take us as serious as professionals as we should be. And so that's something that I really do talk with stylists a lot about, and I give them the tools, and I more so give them the verbiage on how to present charging your worth, how to raise your prices, especially once you become a business owner, whether it's an owner or having employees. All those decisions go back on you. You can't blame the boss anymore because you are the boss.
Yeah.
So being confident in yourself as a business person and charging your worth is going to open up so many doors for you, not just professionally, but personally, because you're going to feel more confident in yourself.
Definitely. I completely understand that. And even myself, like, I've dealt with the same thing. I think every single business owner goes through that of, like, you, especially when you're first starting out, you don't want to disappoint people. And so you feel like if I lower my prices a little bit, the expectations are going to be a little bit lower, but you need to have those high expectations even for yourself too.
Yes, definitely.
So apart from just telling people, okay, you should be charging more, how can someone go about that strategically to understand how much they should be charging as opposed to just like, oh, I'll tack on an extra $10 or $20?
Yeah, I mean, it's all going to depend on your area and where you live. And I don't really like people to look at salons next to them and see what they're charging and that they should just charge that. I think that people need to like dig deep and really realize what is your time worth. So maybe break it down into what are you worth per hour, and then think about, does a haircut take you an hour, and charge that. And you know, most of us start out in the career and we, you know, something that I experienced is I worked at a salon that was undercharging drastically in some parts of it. And so I just kind of took that along with me. So you should think about every year that the price of bread goes up, right? So if you've been doing hair for 10 years and you've never raised your prices, you need to raise your prices. I don't typically coach to people raising their prices every single year. Some salons do that. But if you are so booked out and you can't get new people in a couple weeks out, your prices are way too low. You've become the discount girl and you're filling up your books. These people are coming to you. You need to raise those prices, and it might be just $3 to $5. It doesn't need to be something huge.
Yeah.
Raise those prices. Are you going to lose people? Yes. You are. And that's okay. Does that hurt because we love to make everyone happy? Of course. But then you need to make more room for new guests coming in so that you can have a growing and thriving business. So as far as price per se, it all depends on your area and in the services that you provide and your skill level. But just know that you can raise prices once you are so booked out. And if you aren't booked out yet, and you feel like you're underpriced, then you need to level up your experience that you give your guests so that you do start to get more people in and build up enough to raise your prices.
Yes. Awesome. I love hearing that. I think it's something that every business owner needs to hear. We do not need to be undervaluing ourselves. And I think that everybody probably has a higher skill level than they even imagine that they do. So
yes, we are our own worst critics. So we're a strong coloring salon. You see that little tweak, that little shift in tone that it wasn't so perfect in your eye, but your guest loves it and they're glowing.
Yeah.
And so we're just way too hard on ourselves, and that's another reason why we just don't charge our worth, because we just never think we're good enough, which we need to stop that.
I know. So I wanted to ask you one more question, and also, guys, I'm going to answer some of your questions in the comments from Tammy and Lottie. But if you have any questions for Abby about anything we've talked about so far, feel free to drop them in the comments and we will get to them in just a minute. But I wanted to ask you one more question, Abby. So you were talking before about nurturing your existing client list in order to grow your business. So if you get someone booking just one extra appointment per year, if you can have them coming in more often, if you can, make more sales while they're in your salon, that's something that a lot of salons are missing out on because they're going for the new clients as opposed to nurturing their own lists that they already have. What are some of the things that a lot of salons are missing in terms of communicating with their existing client base?
So how we nurture our existing client base is we definitely do our email list and we nurture it that way, but it's more so what's happening in the salon. So I know I'm like a broken record. It all goes back to that experience. But
if you can hear something, they're doing construction outside. I don't know if that's distracting or
mowing their
not.
lawn over here a little bit now, so it's all right. So nurturing your clientele. So it's going to be about, again, giving them that experience. And how I would do that is when they come into my salon, if they're just down for a color retouch just to get their roots covered up, I'm not just going to say, okay, and tell them that. If I look at them and I say, because I'm the expert, right, they need some highlights to brighten them up for summer, by being an expert and saying, okay, let's do your retouch today. What do you think about some highlights? I feel like that's really going to brighten and freshen you up and make your hair, we do balayage in the salon, of course, make your hair look 20 years younger with some balayage highlights. What do you think about that today? That is nurturing my client, right, because she's not just coming in for what she's asked for. She's come in. I, the expert, have enhanced her hair experience by giving her even better hair than when she walked out. And the same thing with products and take home. So everyone's so afraid to sell. We do not sell products in my salon. Yes, we have products that we sell, but we don't sell the products. We educate our guests. So another way that we nurture that guest is I want to make sure they know how to do their hair at home. So every single product that I'm going to pick up to make their hair beautiful today, I'm going to show that to my client. I'm going to show them how to use it. And there's times where I put the brush or the curl iron in my client's hand, teaching them how to do their hair. Again, I've just enhanced their experience. I've nurtured that client, and I've given them extra special attention. Yeah. So walking around for the next 4 weeks, the hair that I gave them still looks beautiful because they know how to style it. Yes. So it's just caring. It's about caring about those people so they feel heard and they feel taken care of, and they also know they're getting their best hair because I, the expert, am suggesting that to them.
I love that. That is awesome. And definitely about the education side as opposed to just hard selling. The education side works so much better. And it's not just about, well, if you're not going to buy this product, I don't really care about, what you think. It's more just like, I genuinely want you to be able to have gorgeous hair all the time, and I'm going to teach you regardless of whether you purchase this product or not.
Everything that sits on my shelf, I believe in and I love. And if I don't love something, it's not in my salons. And my guests know that about me. They know I'm not selling them anything. If I say you need a conditioning treatment today, it's another way to add value to your guests, I'm going to suggest a conditioning treatment. If I don't think you need it, I'm not going to talk about it. And they trust me. I've built that trust, and that's a huge part of it too. Build the trust in your guests. So offer them this product, this add-on, whatever it may be, and they're going to love it, and so now they trust you.
Yeah. Simple as that. That's awesome. So Tammy was saying, Tammy left a few comments. Sorry we didn't get to you before, Tammy, because we were deep in conversation. Tammy says, I felt awkward going to beauty school in my 30s. So when we were talking about going to beauty school, she says, your life is my goal. So you've been very inspirational for Tammy. And she says, I'm sure I'm going to have a ton of questions because I'd love to own my own salon. Will there be a place to get questions answered later? I would say, Tammy, yes. You can definitely ask your questions in the comments. And also, Abby has a group called Built with Balayage as well.
Yes. I have a Facebook group. It's called Built with Balayage. And yes, it's mainly balayage training, but I also have trainings on how to organize your schedules and how to charge your worth. I do a lot of trainings on that. So all and any questions are welcome in my Built with Balayage Facebook group, for sure.
Awesome. So if you want to join the group, Tammy, or anyone else watching, you can just search Built with Balayage on Facebook. And if they want to get in touch with you, Abby, to learn more about your academy or your education or your training, how can people get in touch with you?
Yeah, you guys, everyone can just go to abbywarther.com, and it's all right there. So everything's there. You can get into my Facebook group there. You can look at my classes. I'm traveling all over the country this year. I still have classes available, and coaching, and everything's on the website.
Awesome. Well, this has been so much fun, such an eye-opener for me, Abby, to learn more about kind of the guest experience, how you foster the culture, the strong culture that you have, all about your experience with opening your first salon and then where you are now today. And I know it's been super helpful for everyone watching as well. So thank you so much.
Thank you. I had fun today. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, me too. Okay, guys. So that's it for this week, and I will see you again next Tuesday on Salon Marketing Live. So don't miss it. And thank you again for watching. Talk soon. Bye, everyone.